guys, so this is the fourth video in the neck building, the neck surgery video. Last time we were with you guys, we were clamping the neck and gluing the fretboard together, and I just took a look at it. I think Lonnie did a pretty good job. And what else are we going to do today, no?
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I appreciate the vote of confidence, but so today we have the finished glued fretboard and neck. So you can see it's a little oversized. So we're going to trim this down, trim off a little of the edge here, route this down so it's flush with the neck. It's going to start looking like a real guitar neck. That's the primary focus for today.
Awesome.
Okay, so we're back on the bench. Now we have routed the fretboard, and this is really starting to resemble a guitar neck now. So the next step, now that we have the fretboard attached and routed out to shape, is we're actually going to install the fretboard markers, the side dots, just for your placement. So George has selected white for the colors here, and we're going to make some measurements and drill these pieces in. The way we're going to do this is actually just take a pair of digital calipers, find the exact measurement here between the two frets on each one of the frets that we're going to mark. Mark that with a pencil and punch that with a dot punch, and then we're going to go ahead and move that over to the drill press and install drill out the holes so we can install the fret markers. Okay, so now we have the holes for the side markers drilled. The next step here is to actually do the inlay for those. So we'll be taking this little piece of white plastic, and we're going to fill the holes with that and with some super glue. So we're just going to go hole by hole down the line until we've completed them all. That's the next step. Okay, so now we have these side dots filled with our markers, and while we're waiting for that super glue to set, I'm just going to take a second here and we're going to crack open this nut slot. So since the nut slot's actually been pre-sawed when we did the frets, we should just be able to crack it open with a very gentle hammer strike and a chisel. Do that up and down here, just enough to move it. Give the same treatment from the other side. Real trick here is to be super light so that we don't end up causing any more of an issue than we need to. Okay. And then we should be able to just grab a utility knife. We should just be able to maybe it's a little bit more of a crack still. There we go. And then this little piece should just right out. And now we've got that nut slot cracked out, and we can take a small file and smooth that out while we're waiting for this thing to set. I'm just going to clean that out just a little bit. Okay, and now that is quite clean. We're good to go ahead and move on to the next step. Okay, so now we've got the nut slot cut. All of these should be more or less set, and what I'm going to do now is simply just take a utility knife, trim the edges of all of these off, and then we'll come back with some sandpaper and sand it down smooth. Doesn't have to be perfect yet. There's still going to be a little bit more to go, for finishing, so we just need to get a good head start on it. And it helps to kind of make a little cut on all sides of these dots, because we don't want to create any real big nicks or anything in the sides. And it doesn't have to be perfectly lined up. The sandpaper will help us even it all out. Sometimes you don't even have to get all around. Sandpaper will help us level this out in a second. Around here to get these last couple. Okay, so now we got all the dots trimmed, and all we really have to do, give me 1 second, I'll grab a sanding block. Take this little sanding block right here. You always use a sanding block, make sure you're putting in even pressure on the sides. All we're going to try and do here is just give this a light pass, get about the same level as the fretboard. And like I said before, it doesn't have to be perfect yet. Plenty more sanding to go. But this gets us a good start for sure. And now we've got the dots placed. Okay, so we're into some really exciting parts of the build now. These are some of my favorites. So we've got these dots put in here. We've got the end of the board sanded down nicely, so it's going to fit perfectly on the guitar. The next step here we're going to do is we're actually going to take this headstock and we're going to bring it down to the right thickness. It's about twice as big as it needs to be right now. So I'm going to take some measurements. I'm going to build a jig on the router table, and then today we're going to go ahead and cut through this to bring it down to the right thickness. Okay, so we're back here on the bench again, and we have just taken the neck off of the little jig that we built to bring the headstock down to thickness. So as you can see, we now have a couple different levels here happening. So this is the actual thickness of the headstock as it's going to be. We've got a little stair step here from what we took off before, and we've got the edge of the fretboard. So the next step that we'll do here is actually take a spindle sander, and we are going to put in a little bit of a transition to even this out, reduce this steep angle right here and make it start looking pretty. After that, all we got to do is get started on the frets today. so we just got done with sanding the transition into the fretboard from the neck. So you can see now, hopefully, we've got a lovely little curve here that's going to make that transition much nicer. The next step that we're going to do is go ahead and put some frets on this thing. So to do that, we've got our fret wire. We're going to clean this up. We're going to cut it into appropriate lengths just to go across each fret. I'm going to clean the fret slots using this little tool right here. And we're going to actually use a modified arbor press to actually seat these in. So what this does is it's a 1-ton arbor press that's just used to press things into other things. And I've actually drilled a little hole in the bottom of this to accept a fretting call, which is this little tool right here. And so this little bit is this is a call for the frets, and it's actually going to match the radius of the fretboard that we have right here. So we'll install this piece right in here and run the neck right through to press the frets in. We'll come back afterwards and glue it, and this thing will be fretted.
Starting to look like a guitar neck.
Yes, it is.
You can see all the frets there. I want to give it back.
Well, it's not quite playable yet, right? I mean, if you look at the back, it's not quite ergonomic yet. So that's probably what we should focus on next. So the next steps here is we're actually just going to do some layouts on the back side of the neck, just to plan our attack for actually shaping it. And then we get to my favorite part, which is actually turning that into a playable neck. So we'll start carving it, and I'm going to make sure that George here has to do the legwork.
We'll probably stop here for this video. We have plenty of footage. I mean, we're going to stay here and start the 5th video with all these next steps. But we'll wrap up the video here, and I will see you guys, or we will see you guys next time on video number 5. Hopefully that will be the last one. We get everything done. We'll see how long this thing takes. So I'm excited about it. I hope you guys are too. So stay tuned for next time.